Good evening and welcome to the I'm seeing shaking heads, so no. And we'll move on to the public hearings. We'll start with the first one, A, East Bay Mud Maintenance Facility Upgrade Extension. We'll start with the staff.
Hi, good evening, Commissioners. Summer Gill. I don't have a formal presentation because this is a 2-year extension to a previously approved design review. No changes have been made to the previously approved plan set. The applicant representing the project is here tonight. If you have any questions for myself or her.
Okay, do we have any questions for her? Mr. Reiser?
No question.
Okay, you pushed the button. Okay, therefore, we will ask, open up for a public hearing. Is anyone in the public would like to comment on this item? Again, seeing nobody racing to the podium, we'll close public communications and bring it back to the commission for either a comments or a motion.
I'll move to approve the design review application Y20-059, 2-year design review extension of the East Bay Mud Maintenance Facility Upgrades and Site Improvements at 2658 North Main Street.
And the motion is to clarify to adopt the resolution as corrected.
As corrected.
As corrected? As corrected.
Yeah.
So moved. Oh,
Second.
Will
So
the
amended.
secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Kwok,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp,
Yes.
Commissioner Reiser,
yes.
Commissioner Nating is absent, Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Strongman.
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. Our next project is Gibson's conditional use permit applications Y24039, project located at 1387 Locust Street. We'll start out with a staff presentation, and she'll be sitting down for this one.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Jessica Gonzalez, Associate Planner, and I'll be presenting the alcohol conditional use permit for the proposed Gibson's restaurant. So starting with the project location, project is located at 1387 Locust Street. Many know the existing building as the former Krogan's Bar and Restaurant at the corner of Locust and Cypress. The parcel is outlined on the aerial shown on the screen, and the site is zoned pedestrian retail. I did include a snippet from the zoning map just to give a sense of surrounding uses and surrounding zones. As you'll note, the red indicates the pedestrian retail downtown area, and then the little bit of blue you see is office. So moving into the project application before you tonight, the application is for a conditional use permit, which is required to allow indoor alcohol sales, service, and consumptions after 11 p.m. And so the applicant is requesting a conditional use permit to allow alcohol sales and service up until 12:30 a.m. and consumption until 1 a.m. Moving into the proposed new business, Gibson's will operate as a full-service restaurant and bar. The proposed business hours are Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 a.m., and Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m. The space is approximately 4,300 square feet in size, and the business plan notes that there are no major exterior changes proposed, with the exception of a new ADA ramp and a future proposed deck extension. So here is the site plan for the site, which shows the building and the adjacent tenant spaces. Here is the proposed floor plan, which shows the proposed seating layout. There's also some blue symbols on the floor plan, which do indicate the proposed security cameras. And the boxed area in yellow represents an area that will sometimes be set up with seats and at other times will be cleared to allow for dancing. The business, as far as security measures, the business will have approximately 18 security cameras, 14 interior cameras, and 4 exterior cameras. And the business plan also notes that all employees will undergo the Responsible Beverage Service Certification Program by ABC for safe service. And then additionally, as a condition of approval that was reviewed by the Walnut Creek Police Department, is a requirement for required security in the amounts noted on the screen. This condition, along with other alcohol-related conditions, should really help to mitigate any potential issues with the extended service. So here are the required findings for a conditional use permit on the screen. Staff believes the findings can be made as no exceptions are requested and the project complies with the pedestrian retail zoning and general plan. Also, the hours are complementary to other bars and restaurants in the immediate area in the PR zone, and per the zoning district, the site is not within 600 feet of a school. And here are the additional findings for alcohol CUP. Really, as described in the resolution, staff believes these findings can also be made. In summary, the Walnut Creek Police Department has reviewed and noted no issues with the proposed extended hours or concerns regarding any calls for service. Additionally, conditions including security measures noted should really help to address any potential impacts. And the use, as I noted, is pretty compatible with other surrounding uses in the area. And so with that, staff does recommend that the Planning Commission move to adopt the draft resolution approving the conditional use permit application to permit the hours of alcohol sales and service till 12:30 a.m. daily and alcohol consumption until 1 a.m. within the building at 1387 Locust Street. I'm available for any questions. The applicant, Jeff Dudum, is also here, and we also have Lieutenant Morehouse with the Walnut Creek Police Department if you have any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. So we'll start out with questions from the commission for the staff. Go
I
ahead.
have a quick question. In reviewing this earlier, didn't it say that we're this particular case is jumping, it would normally be an AUP, and it's going to CUP?
Yeah, so there historically has been a recommendation for new businesses to start off with an AUP for about a year, and then they could move forward with a request for CUP. In this circumstance, I believe the police department reviewed and noted no concerns given the business owner's other operations and their good standing.
Okay. That's it for now.
Any other questions there? I do have a question about the encroachment. I know the stairs have been there forever, as long as I've been around. Is that going to impact the sidewalk to the extent that you can't get a wheelchair past it? Because I'm concerned about having an impact of a possible ADA suit against the city because we don't have enough sidewalk there.
So I would refer to the city attorney for any legal questions, but I'm not aware of any changes that are proposed to the stairs. It's more just the condition that is noted in the draft resolution is that they're required to enter into the encroachment agreement.
Yeah, I am not aware of any changes, but if the condition requires that encroachment agreement, then the obligation, the property owner has certain obligations to maintain them, and to have the stairs basically exist in the sidewalk area.
Will they be indemnifying the city if there's somebody like myself comes there and trips on the stairs thinking I could go down the sidewalk?
So the encroachment agreement, we've not seen a draft, but historically, I think that is a standard
Okay.
part of the conditions. For
Thank
that.
you. No other questions? So we'll now open this up for public communications, and I believe the applicant has first allowed to go first and have an opportunity for slightly more time.
Hello, thank you. I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic out there in Walnut Creek. From Crogans to here was a long drive, but a lot of traffic. Thank you for having me. Currently, we have rooftop, Bourbon Highway, the Garden, and Cooperage next to Macy's. And love Walnut Creek. This will be my 64th restaurant. I opened Havana 22 years ago. Love creating concepts and bringing great things into Walnut Creek that we need. One time when I first started and did Bing Crosby's and McCovey's, we were the only game in town to come to restaurants within, Lafayette, Concord, Danville, and now they've upped their game. And they've followed our great success in Walnut Creek and doing wonderful concepts. And today, the location had been closed for 8 years. And it would be probably closed for another 8 years if I didn't somehow run into Garo, the owner, and he asked how come we haven't done a deal together. And we went out to lunch and we put a deal together. So thanks to Jessica and the whole team here at the city, they were awesome, in the police department, working with me to finally fill this property. Bing Crosby's back in the day had a music element to it. It was fun. It was a piano lounge. And for all that remember it, that it was here, it was a hot place to go. So the one thing on social media you may have seen, I put out, hey, what does Walnut Creek want? Because I want to do what Walnut Creek, not only fill a void for Krogan's location, but for what they need. And a lot of people said there's nowhere for people to go after dinner if you're 40 and up. And it's true. I mean, Bourbon Highway, we do have a bunch of people go in there and line dance at 55, 60, 65, and they have a blast. But, I want people to feel comfortable. So having a dueling piano bar, pianos going and stuff like that was part of the idea. And Dan Buckshire came to me about 4 years ago to kind of create something with music involved in it. And that's why we did the Broadway Club where Cooperage is at, but it got shut down because of COVID. We opened it 1 month before COVID. So that's why there's a kind of a music edge to this location. So good food. I'm sure you guys all saw the menu and everything, but I pride myself on being downtown. I walk the streets with Kevin Wilk all the time, trying to make this a safe community and restaurants and bars running how they're supposed to. I grew up underneath Tom Servanis as the chief and a whole crew that kind of taught me how to conform to Walnut Creek's needs and wants as an operator. So you'll see me, and I know the police sees me down here at 12:30, 1 at night before I go home, because I want to make sure I follow up with what my team needs, what the city needs, and the police department needs. So it's very hard for our industry right now. As you guys go to Safeway and Costco and see the prices of things, you can only imagine. I went to Chipotle yesterday and I double-checked what I bought 2 burritos for $30. I was like, so things are getting really expensive. So that extra time just gives me the ability to sell alcohol and food and be able to pay the bills and Garo's rent, which is a lot. So That's all I really have. I know it said we're building a new ADA ramp. We're just rebuilding the ADA ramp that was currently there. It was in bad shape. And then extending the deck, I don't know, has anyone seen the new paint job we just did? If you have, it looks beautiful. And so if extending the deck out will just give that, communication between the street and the business and make it look exciting. So,
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? One question.
Yeah, actually two. I appreciate that, you have a cordial and infrequent relationship with the police. That's good. And that you've been operating a similar establishment. Is the other establishment, is that also serves liquor after 11 o'clock? Is it?
all mine do.
Okay,
Yes.
so 12:30 and 1 o'clock?
Rooftop, we have till 1. We close at 11:30, 11:45, and then we let them sit there and finish their drinks. But I think we do last call at 11:15 because, that fits that crowd.
So if you have sales stop at 12:30 and consumption at 1, how do you enforce that?
It's very easy. It's communication up front. It's making sure that when they come in the restaurant, they're clear before they order a beverage or some food, what time you do close. So we're able really to do it with Bourbon Highway, which average age is about 21 and a half. So we'll make sure we are able to do it for their parents. But we really, not to take it lightly because it is important. We want people to understand up front what they're coming into. So when they meet and it said security up there. I call our security staff, I call them host. I elevate them. So they're talking to people with, a little bit more details. So before they even walk in the building, that would be addressed.
And the security staff, the staffing that you propose, apparently you work that out with the police department
Yes,
being sufficient. And is that similar to what you have at your current?
absolutely. It's the same team.
Same team.
I mean, it just more of them. I think that, and Officer Morehouse will say, I really pride myself in making sure that we run an awesome, protected, well-run business. So,
All right, thank you.
Any other questions for him? Commissioner Ward?
Hi, thank you. Thank you for your application too. I particularly appreciated there being a security plan included. I know that's always an issue for me and I think other commissioners. I'm really thrilled to see something going into this building that's been empty for so long and something that seems really dynamic and useful and needed for the community. And I certainly think your patio will be awesome once it's built. So,
thank you.
but it's a little bit of a notorious site. So maybe you could speak to us just a little bit about how you're going to run it differently than the previous people that were there, where it was kind of a constant issue with the police and
Yeah.
just.
It all goes to your entertainment. It's and that's what I work with the chief and the police department and different entities here in the city of how to run a business is based on how you promote your business. So back in that same location, even though the four walls ran a certain way, it's because they were attracting a different element of music and different needs and wants of guests. It got out of hand at one point, but I do, Patsy Wilkinson is a dear friend, and I was there with her at the very end trying to renegotiate the lease at $37,000 a month with Garo, and it didn't work out, and we were trying to put Bourbon Highway there instead of where it ended up, and we couldn't make it happen. Just to understand, when you do a business like this and you have people coming in, you just need to make sure that you're really working with a plan and not just going, okay, we're gonna do salsa dancing next week, and then we're going to do this. We're going to be live entertainment, working with an average age of about 35 to 70 age group, and 21 and 22, I want to come to Bourbon. And it's all how you mix the crowds too. It's all about making sure your concept is working. Cooperage is a perfect example. Everyone said, "Wow, that was a great thing to bring to Walnut Creek," and it did. Was avoiding that menu and that menu type, and it runs like a machine, and we stay focused and promote to the crowd that wants to come to that restaurant. So, I think the past got out of hand, and I think things are a lot different now on that corner. I mean, we have challenges on that corner, on both sides of us and around us, and so we need to make sure that we all work together and work with the police to make sure that crowds are leaving at different times, and we'll work with the police on that for sure.
Great. Well, I really appreciate that. I mean, certainly you've got a track record that we can look to, and that's a really positive thing too. But I think, don't you think it'll be positive for that entire block to no longer have an empty building there, to have a really well-run establishment? I mean, I would think that would elevate everything in that.
Yes, I think it's going to liven up that for sure, and I'm working with the landlord on the Chili's location too, about doing something there. So I might see you in the next 6 months back up here again.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you very much
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions for him? Thank you.
And I do just want to follow up on my response to
Sure, please.
Sean's question. So the condition, in addition to what we talked about for indemnification clause, also requires the applicant to get insurance in terms of property damage and bodily injury, so that offers the city additional protection in that regard.
Thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to speak on this subject? Seeing nobody approaching, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission for comments or a motion.
I'll go first. I'm definitely in favor of bringing a restaurant, especially run by Jeff, to that location. First of all, the location needs it. Jeff actually brought it up that there are some without naming names, there are some sites within a couple of fronts of that place that are a bit concerning, because if you're the latest to stay open, that's where we heard it the other. What restaurant were we just? In a recent meeting, in fact, our last one, we were talking about where when restaurants close, they have to close early. People have a tendency to kind of go to the next one. It's open and serving till later. So that is a concern, but Jeff assuaged that for me personally with the security plan and the folks and his track record and whatnot. So I'd speak in favor of that. And unless my colleagues have, should I go ahead with the motion or anybody else?
Well, I'll make a
Okay.
comment.
Oh,
Give you
sure.
back to the motions. I
Okay.
agree. It's about time we have something in that corner. So I'm looking forward to it. Motion would be appreciated.
All right, I will move to approve. Move to approve the draft resolution, conditional use permit application Y24039, Gibson's hours of operation for alcohol service, sales and consumption within the building at 1387.
Microphone. Try it again, please.
And I so move.
And also to clarify, there is a revised version of the resolution in your packet. It's also online, so the motion would be to adopt that version.
So moved.
All right. I'll second.
Would the secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Kwok,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp,
Yes.
Commissioner Reiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Nating is absent. Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Strongman,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. And now we'll move on to the next item, which is Poppy Bank, conditional use permit, design and review. Applications Y24047, location is 1600, if I have that right, Newell Avenue, number F. So we'll have to start with a staff report.
Good evening, Planning Commission. My name is Stephen Cook. I am an assistant planner with the city. Tonight, I am presenting planning project number Y24-047. This proposal involves establishing a bank use in an existing vacant tenant space at 1500 Newell Avenue in Suite F. Battery. Okay, so the proposed bank, Poppy Bank, will be located on the ground floor of a multi-story mixed-use building at the corner of Newell Avenue and South Main Street. The building currently consists of several commercial tenant spaces on the ground floor. The bank will occupy 4,998 square feet, designated as Suite F. The site features 2 below-grade parking levels with customer access through an ingress-egress point on South Main Street at an existing signalized intersection. The surrounding area is a blend of residential, commercial, and community uses. A vicinity map is provided on the slide for your reference. The proposed use will function as a full-service banking facility offering a variety of banking services. It will employ a total of 10 staff members and will operate from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Additionally, the project includes modifications to the existing storefront, which will feature the installation of an exterior ATM visible from Newell Avenue. The proposal requires 2 entitlements. First, a conditional use permit because the site is zoned mixed-use commercial. In the mixed-use commercial zoning district, bank uses are conditionally permitted on the ground floor of a multi-story building when located within 50 feet of a core area retail street. The proposed bank is located on the ground floor of a multi-story building and fronts Newell Avenue, which is a designated core area retail street. The second entitlement is design review. The design review is required for alterations to a commercial building's exterior design. The exterior ATM would require this. Typically, as this alteration is minor in nature, it would have been reviewed at the staff level. However, due to recent amendments to the city's design review process, when a design review is associated with other project entitlements, the authority for design review is elevated to the highest approval body, in this case, the Planning Commission. Listed are the required findings for Planning Commission needs to make. Staff has drafted a resolution for Planning Commission's review and approval that addresses the CUP and design review findings, and this is outlined in Attachment 1 and Attachment 2 of the agenda packet. Okay, and then, oh yeah, click the next one. Okay, so this project, click it to the CEQA section. Okay. This project is exempt from CEQA under Section 15301, Class 1 existing facilities. The project is merely changing from an office use to a bank use. Staff recommends the Planning Commission move to determine the project is exempt from CEQA and adopt the following resolutions approving the conditional use permit and the design review for Poppy Bank located at 1500 Newell Avenue, Suite F, subject to the conditions of approval. The Planning Commission will need to make 2 motions and conduct 2 votes, one for the conditional use permit and the other for the design review. That concludes staff's presentation. Staff is available for any questions or comments.
Thank you for your presentation. We'll start out with questions from the commission. Seeing none, we'll now open a public hearing. Is anyone a member of the public interested in commenting on this project? And that concludes the applicant. And seeing nobody racing to the podium again, we will close public communications and bring it back to the commission for comments or possibly a motion, or 2 motions.
Yeah, I'll just say that, this project checks all the boxes. It seems to be, just what is envisioned for this sort of space, and would be a good addition to it. Also, the staff seemed impressed with the poppy-based design, so it all seems to work.
Thank you. Any other comments? Or one of the 2 motions?
I will I'll move that we adopt attachment 1, the resolution approving the conditional use permit for the proposed Poppy Bank at 1500 Newell Avenue, Suite F.
Second.
Will the secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Kwok,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp,
Yes.
Commissioner Reiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Nating is absent. Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Strongman,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. And I believe we have to have a second motion. And someone would like to make that motion,
I
please?
can make that. I move we adopt the attachment 2, the resolution approving the design review for the proposed Poppy Bank at 1500 Newell Avenue, Suite F.
I'll second.
And will the secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Kwok,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp,
Yes.
Commissioner Reiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Nating is absent. Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Strongman,
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. And moving on to our final project of the night is the Chandra first new single-family residence at 2109 Overlook Drive. And it's applications Y18095. Start with a staff report.
Thank you again. My name is Jessica Gonzalez, Associate Planner, and I will be presenting the conditional use permit and design review for the new single-family home at 2109 Overlook Drive. Just for some clarification in terms of why a conditional use permit is required for this application, this site is zoned multifamily M3, which requires a conditional use permit to allow single-family in that zone. So getting into some project background, a project with a very similar single-family home design and layout was approved at this site in 2007-2008, but that approval has expired. The new application before you tonight was reviewed by the Design Review Commission at a study session on July 17th, 2024. I'll summarize their recommendations, but just for clarification, what is before you tonight is the conditional use permit and design review. So at that July 17th Design Review Commission study session, the DRC reviewed the project and recommended a few changes, which are outlined in the report. But in general, some of the recommended changes were to relocate the bioswale area to allow for better access to the front door, consider permeable pavers, reconcile the plans so they match, consider removing the one-car garage that was proposed. And in terms of building design and colors, the recommendations were to simplify the design with step stories and consider a bi-color scheme and change in materials by incorporating additional materials. And so after that DRC meeting, the applicant did revise the plans, which are before you tonight. And the revisions really addressed a lot of their recommendations. And I did include some elevations on the screen just to depict some of the changes that were made. The elevation at the top of the screen is the previous iteration of the design, and then the new proposal is located at the bottom. So the project does include developing a new two-story single-family home on a vacant lot with an attached two-car garage, tree removals, and new landscaping. So just some site context. The site is a vacant lot zoned multifamily M3. The general plan for the site is multifamily low. And the site is surrounded by single-family and multifamily uses. Regarding the zoning, the minimum lot size under the M3 zone is 15,000 square feet. The gross lot area for this site is about 7,000 square feet, and the net lot area is about 5,000 square feet. So it's pretty undersized as far as the zoning. And so the lot size partly has to do with the lot layout. There is a 20-foot access easement along the southern portion of the lot, which is shown in yellow. That area is excluded from the net lot area, which brings the net lot area down to about 5,000 square feet, which greatly reduces the developable area for the lot. And that net lot area is shown in green. As far as the colors and materials, the new elevations for the site are shown on the screen. With some of the incorporated changes that are discussed throughout the staff report, where stone veneer was incorporated to the front facade, and additionally the color palette was expanded to include some more neutral tones which are used throughout the trim on the building. Just showing some of the elevations. So this is the southern elevation of the site. Eastern elevation adjacent to Overlook Drive. The northern elevation. And then the west side of the building. Some of the landscape details in the revised landscape plan. As I noted, there are some tree removals that are proposed. Those have already been approved by our city arborist. And there's some new landscaping proposed throughout the site. No landscaping is proposed on the access easement. So we have received some public comments tonight. The majority of those are regarding the 10-foot long driveway to the 2-car garage in front of the access easement, which is shown on the screen. The permeable paver driveway is the darker shaded area in front of the garage with the arrow noted. As noted on the screen, DRC and staff recommended a condition of approval restricting any encroachment into the access easement. That condition is included in the draft resolutions. Additionally, the traffic engineer has reviewed and determined that the driveway is acceptable to provide access for the proposal. And just to provide a correction, the report notes that an 18-foot long driveway is required. However, the Muni Code standard that where that is contained does not apply to the M3 zoning district. It only applies to the residential and duplex zoning district. And so just wanted to provide some clarification on that. And so with that, staff does recommend that the Planning Commission determine this project is exempt from CEQA and move to adopt the draft resolution, approving the conditional use permit to allow the single-family home, and the draft resolution approving the design review for a new single-family home at 2109 Overlook Drive. Available for any questions, and the applicant is also here as well.
Thank you for your presentation. We'll start out with questions from the commission. Commissioner Ward.
Right, thank you for that presentation. I can see that a lot of work has gone into changing and adapting this this design to the site, which is challenging, but seems like a good place for it. I'm still confused about the objection with regard to the driveway, and I just wanted to make sure that the current plan, if approved, doesn't pose particular safety concerns that you are aware of. I think in reviewing the public comments that we've received, some of the concerns noted were the length of the driveway, where there's some concern that, you know, if someone parks a certain way, they can potentially encroach into the access easement. We're wanting to address that with a condition that would restrict anyone from encroaching into the access easement. Okay, so other than the encroaching parking, though, I didn't understand how having the shorter driveway on that size lot would pose an access issue. It just seemed like it wouldn't. So the concern was mostly parking. Is that correct?
Yes. So if the cars are parking inside the garage and not in the driveway, it wouldn't restrict the access easement.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Other questions? Staff? Commissioner Anderson.
And just following up on that, I gather the concern was that people with garages do sometimes park in the driveways. In my case, because the garage is full of other things. But I think that's not unusual. And no matter which way you park in a 10-foot driveway, you're going to encroach out into whatever's next to you. So I do see that that's a concern, but, so let me ask about this access easement. It said that I believe that it's access to a multifamily development to the west. Is that correct?
It provides access to other properties
Yeah.
along.
The aerial view doesn't show what I can recognize as a multifamily place there, but I'll take your word for it. So what is the status of that? So it's basically controlled by that adjoining lot? It's for that purpose? So it's not a general, utility easement or, to access another street. It's just to get to that one adjoining lot.
Right, that's my understanding. It's the access easement.
But it's also not a public street, so parking would not be allowed on that access area?
Correct.
Okay. So I do see that it would seem to be an issue with the short driveway and basically a road going past it, driveway to another unit there, going past it, where anybody who parked in the driveway would have part of the vehicle in the access area, access easement. Now, the solution to that was to say, basically, don't park there. Put your car in the garage. The question comes if there's visitors to this house, what do they do with their car? Do they park down on Overlook Drive somewhere, or, it doesn't seem to be at least a legal way to park on the easement itself, because it's, a through fare to another unit. So I'm a little confused as to what happens when inevitably more than 2 cars arrive at this house. And whether the solution of just telling them they can't park in the driveway is sufficient to resolve any issue.
So if the garage is full with other things and they're not able to park in the garage, the cars would have to park on the street and not within the access easement.
Okay. All right. Another question I had was, it's a more general question, I suppose, but I don't understand the M3 zoning indicates that it's supposed to be a transition between, commercial higher density areas and single family areas, correct? So I don't understand why at the end of a long winding dead end street, residential street, you would have that kind of zoning. It really can't be that kind of transition. So I'm wondering if that, I don't know if anybody else thinks that doesn't actually make sense.
The underlying.
Yeah. Or are we just stuck with that and they have to?
Yeah, I'm not
deal with it?
sure about the history of how that those parcels were zoned.
Okay. As far as Mr. Anyway, the neighbor who wrote in, mentioned, where the front setback should be. When you have a corner lot, and the access easement kind of muddies it, but I assume it's be considered a corner lot with 2 frontages on the street, Ray Street. How do you determine which of those is in fact the front yard that has the front yard setback?
For our corner lots, we would determine the front side and setback based on the shortest side. So that would be the front, which is, in this case, along Overlook Drive.
Okay. Okay. As far as the design reviews study session, it's a little confusing because you have a different proposal that got a series of suggestions from the design review. But design review didn't get a chance to look at those again to see, whether they were what they were looking for or comment on that, or whether some were addressed or not. So let me just ask if you're aware of any of their concerns or suggestions that were not addressed by the new proposal, which, by the way, I think is a much better proposal. Design review did their work.
From my understanding, all of their recommendations were addressed. I believe there was a suggestion for consideration of guest parking, as was noted tonight, but because of the constraints of the site, that was not addressed.
Okay. Thank you.
Other questions?
Yes, thank you, and thanks for all the work on this. And I'm back to parking. There's a picture that has the layout and the distance of the depth of the garage and then the depth of the 10-foot. How deep is that garage?
I would estimate it's about 20 feet, which I think the standard parking size is what, 9 by 19? It's a little over 20 feet.
So I was just going to ask if it's a standard size garage. So it's a little bigger than average, is what you're saying. That'd be lovely.
My name is Tahid. I'm the messenger.
Hi.
So to address some of the commission's comments.
Actually, I'm sorry, just to clarify, so before the applicant comes to answer questions, we should open the public hearing.
Oh,
unless
okay,
the-
thank
has
you.
any questions.
Please do that. So, hang on just a second. So hold my question about the garage sides. Thank you.
Excuse me, I have a couple questions. Back to the easement. How wide is the easement?
20-foot wide easement.
It is a 20-foot wide easement, and who maintains that in the future? Do we have an idea for that?
It's all the people that are that have the benefit of the easement. So it would be a combination of the various property owners. I'm not sure if the easement has specific language in terms of how that's actually done, but it is for the benefit of several property owners.
Okay, thank you. And now we'll open the public hearing and start out with the applicant who's welcome to give a presentation. You are.
Hi, my name is Tahid. I'm not sure in terms of what I can add. I could just give you a little bit of history. For over 25 years, this person's been trying to develop this lot. The lot is constrained. It's very small, and the easement is one of the challenges. One of the items that he's done almost 18 years ago, he went to those owners of the two properties in question that benefit from this easement and asked them to change the easement towards St. John's instead of Overlook, so they'd have direct access to their homes instead of going through the lot. They simply didn't want that. So I'm gonna talk about the elephant in the room. If there's a house there, it blocks their view at the end of the day. It has nothing to do with the parking. It has nothing to do with, a clogged artery to their home. Generally, there's just two homes with not a whole lot of people that easement is hardly used in terms of a thoroughfare because it just connects two homes. We've conformed, these plans have been redone at least 18 times over the last 20 years. We've gone through every hurdle that this commission and every other commission that precedes you has posed through sound studies, BART, you name it, we've done it. This is the design that makes sense. Otherwise, it would not look like a general home. It would look like some abstract building. So I'm not sure what more we can do to this lot other than you tell me not to develop it. There's nothing in the commission's comments that we didn't address. If it was a storage issue, we built storage in the garage so the garage doesn't get full, so it can house more cars. Other than the fact that in one day, what if somebody parks in front of the garage, what would happen kind of thing, I can't predict that. I mean, no one can. And yes, there might be some guests. They might park on the street. But that challenge is in every lot and in every home. So I ask you, please approve this.
Thank you. Any questions for him? Yes.
Just to complete your comment about the size of the garage, I'd appreciate that.
No problem. 24, I believe 24 feet
And that's a little larger than you said a
than normal.
usual
Yeah.
garage. Oh, there it is.
This has changed. It shows 20 by 20.2 by 20.8 on the actual garage, 415 square feet, and the storage behind.
Sorry, I apologize.
problem.
You're right.
So it's a standard
Standard,
garage.
standard.
Because,
yeah.
so that, I couldn't convince you
Well-
to shave a foot off, so that, okay, I'm good, thank you.
Any other questions for the applicant or applicant representative? Okay, and we'll continue open public comments. Anyone else who would like to make a comment on this project? Oh, sorry, one down here.
Thank you. I wanted to thank you for the presentation and for adding a little bit more clarity. I wanted to ask you, how familiar are you with the neighborhood?
Not,
Not very, okay.
yeah. I mean, I drive there.
Yeah.
Check it out
Mhm.
most of the time. I don't live there, no.
Okay. All right, would you know how close the property is to the BART station?
In terms of feet, no.
Just off the top of your head?
100, 150 feet
Okay.
from the rail, but not the station.
I'm sorry?
From the rails, from the track.
From the Walnut Creek BART station?
Less than a mile.
Okay,
So-
all right. Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else would like to make a comment? Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and bring it back to the commission. And I personally happened to drive through by the property today. It is all multifamily-ish throughout that area. The view is of the sound wall of 680. It is a parking restricted area too. So, yeah, by permit, yeah. So, other comments? Commissioner Ward?
It looks like we have two resolutions we need to do for this. Is that correct?
Yes, and they're both revised.
Okay. Okay, I guess I'll start then. I'd like to move that we approve draft conditional use planning application number Y18-095. Yeah, as revised. For the new single-family home CUP for 2109 Overlook Drive.
Second.
Would the secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Kwok,
Yes.
Commissioner Ward,
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp,
Yes,
Commissioner Reiser,
Yes.
Commissioner Nating is absent, Vice Chair Anderson,
Yes.
Chair Strongman.
Yes.
Motion passes.
And for the second motion,
Okay. Sorry, pulling it up. Okay, so the second one's revised also, I believe. Is that correct? Correct. Okay, so I'd like to, oh, I have it in front of me. So I'd like to move that we approve the design review, the conditional use permit for the design review for planning application Y18095 as revised.
Second. Oops.
Which commissioner was that?
We'll have a duel for it, right?
Mr. Klopp?
Would you please call the roll, please?
Commissioner Kwok?
Yes.
Commissioner Ward?
Yes.
Commissioner Klopp?
Yes.
Commissioner Reiser?
Yes.
Commissioner Nating is absent. Vice Chair Anderson?
Yes.
Chair Strongman?
Yes,
Motion passes.
thank you. And we'll move on to commission considerations, which I believe we do have something.
Staff just wanted to say that Commissioner Bob Pickett used to be on the Trans PAC, and we would like the commission at our next meeting on October 24th to nominate someone on this plan commission to volunteer for the Trans PAC.
Could you maybe send out some information about what that would mean and, I
Yes.
mean, what it does and how much time it is?
Yes.
At least as much as you know. That'd
Yes.
be great.
Staff
Thank
will,
you.
Staff will do that.
Thank you.
Otherwise, we'll just nominate me.
Moving on to commission members and staff reports and other announcements.
None by staff.
Any announcements from the staff or commission? Seeing none, we are now adjourned.
Well done.